Giannis Antetokounmpo went from being underrated to winning back-to-back MVPs and a Defensive Player of the Year to winning a championship to now being underrated once again. He's having a historic year and it's his best season yet, but no one wants to talk about it. There are players like Ja Morant who are really good, but sometimes they're getting more attention than Giannis. He's having a monster season this year and it's just flying under the radar. We've been desensitized to how good he is, so I wanted to make a video to highlight and put into perspective how good Giannis has been this season. Let's take a quick look at the stats. These are his stats from the past 3 years. In this time, he won back-to-back MVPs, a Defensive Player of the Year, and a championship. And these are his stats this season. I would make the argument that this is his best season yet. These stats are historically good already, and there are two things that this alone doesn't show. One, that he's doing all this while playing 33 minutes a game, and two, his production on the defensive side of the ball. If I were to adjust the stats for him to play 36 minutes a game, he would be putting up 32.5 points, 12.5 rebounds, and 6.5 assists a game. That is insane. His defensive impact is also huge. This season, he is a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and it's pretty close to the year where he won the award. A lot of the big men on the Bucks have either been injured or in and out of the lineup, so Giannis often has to take on a bigger role on defense. DeMarcus Cousins started off the year on the Bucks and played 17 games. Now he's playing in Denver, and the Bucks have one less big man. Brook Lopez only played the season opener and hasn't been on the floor since. There goes another big man. Bobby Portis played his entire career as a power forward besides this year and last year, and a huge reason for that is the lack of center depth on the team. The Bucks can get away with this because of how good Giannis is on defense. They are able to play small ball, running Giannis at the 5, and whenever Coach Bud wants, he can have a center on the court and not need them to be an elite defender. Before the trade deadline, the Bucks got Serge Ibaka to help with big man depth. This was a move Milwaukee had to make because they could run into players like Joel Embiid in the playoffs. Giannis has played like this for most of the season, and he has held it down very, very well. On the offensive side of the ball, Giannis has done nothing but expand his game. Years ago, Shaq said this:
"I'm denouncing my Supermanship and I'm giving it to the Greek freak."
He can wear the S?
It's him.
He can wear the S?
Yes, it's him now.
Who's the most dominant player in the paint, you or him?
Him.
You or no, you're not.
No, him.
No way.
That is a bold thing to say, and Giannis has gotten much better since then. His shooting got better, mainly from the free throw line and mid-range area. He is shooting 72% from the free throw line this season, and that is the highest percentage in the last 3 years. He also added more mid-range shots to his game, so he has different options he can go to depending on the situation. He has a fadeaway and a pull-up jumper, and before this, he was already unstoppable. Giannis is an underrated passer, and not a lot of people realize how good he is at reading the defense. He doesn't just read the defense to find open guys, he reads the defense to know exactly what he should do. Should he Euro step around his defender, slow down the offense, just overpower his defender, find the cutter, find the shooter, hit the floater or mid-range shot? He is just so good at reading the defense. Giannis is averaging a career-high 6 assists a game this season, and that puts him at 19th in the league. Just to put it into perspective, that is better than Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Cade Cunningham, DeRozan, and isn't that far behind players like LeBron, Steph, Drew Holiday, and Ja Morant. And I get that assists aren't the perfect passing metric, but it definitely does say something, and he is in elite company. The crazy thing is that I thought he proved everyone wrong last season. Before that, he was seen as a playoff choker, and you could just build the wall to stop him. I made a similar video last season, and I talked about how we kept seeing him underperform, and that made us think of him as a lesser player. It contaminated our opinions when it comes to MVP races and how we viewed him in general. But last season, he proved them all wrong. He led the Bucks to a championship without a super team, and seemed to only get better when the team needed him the most. He showed that he couldn't be stopped and he could lead a team to a championship. Giannis seemed to get the praise he deserved, but this year, the hype has died back down. Other players have played out of their mind and people pushed Giannis aside and focused on these hot, new must-watch players. DeMar DeRozan started to have arguably the best season in his career, and Ja Morant has risen up to superstar and MVP conversations while leading the Grizzlies to a top seed in the West. Now those two players have played amazing, so nothing but respect to them, but that shouldn't take away from what Giannis is doing this season. MVP discussions pop out throughout the season, and some media members push Chris Paul, DeRozan, and Ja narratives when they don't deserve it. They can be in the conversation, yes, but realistically, they shouldn't be the finalists to win the award. I am not saying Giannis should definitely win the MVP, but I believe Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid have separated themselves from the group. Another group of people are hesitating to think Giannis should win the MVP because he already won 2 in a row. Voter fatigue, MVP fatigue, whatever you want to call it, it just doesn't make sense to me. If a player is good enough to win the award, give them the award. They deserve it. If anything, doing it in previous years just goes to show how good they are and that they can consistently achieve such great things. This ideology holds many players back, and Giannis is one of those players. We have been desensitized to Giannis's greatness, and that's a shame. Giannis is already an all-time great, and he is having his best season so far and just keeps getting better. Giannis started off his career as a very underrated player. He was drafted 15th in 2013 and worked his way up. He became an all-star, became an MVP, and then he became a back-to-back MVP with a Defensive Player of the Year. All that regular season achievements were great, but we weren't seeing it in the playoffs. Many people thought that Giannis might be like Scottie and he would need his Jordan. He was underrated in a way because he could get it done and proved that last season. After he won, he got his flowers, and there were even a bunch of people that thought he was on GOAT pace, which was a huge shift in the narrative. But now, that has died down. I would make the case that he is underrated once again, but the good thing about that is Giannis and the Bucks become the surprise. He already won a championship, and no one can take that away from him. That was his main criticism before, but now he has nothing to lose, and a player that has nothing to lose is dangerous. Sure, you could say Giannis has to defend his title, but that isn't nearly as significant as having to break through in the playoffs. Giannis is making history. I don't want to miss it, and I don't want you to miss it. So enjoy it while you can, and appreciate what Giannis is doing right before our eyes. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I read every single comment, so let me know what you think in the comments down below. Subscribe for future basketball content, and thank you for watching.